Well, guys, we already discussed about first two phases in our last session. That was inception, and the other one was construction. What work we do in the inception, Sarah? Hello, Sarah.
Yes, hi.
Hi. Yeah. So, what work we do in the inception phase?
Maybe we analyze the requirements.
Mm-hmm.
We identify the user requirements
Oh.
and we assess them.
Oh. In inception phase, firstly, always remember as a team, our inception phase should not be very long. It shouldn't be more than, for example, one iteration or one sprint, or you can say 10 to 11 days. Okay, that's number one. Number two is here we just do enough work to get us going as a team. For example, we form our team, we explore high level requirements, as you said, we align our team's direction with enterprise directions. We try to identify some strategies, for example, around release planning, strategies around testing, strategies around architecture identification. Similarly, we also see that, okay, how much funding will be required to us to do this project. Maybe funding is already allocated. In that case, we might not be thinking about it, but if it is not allocated or the whole strategy of funding allocation, the scope of funding is not well defined, we can do it in first 10 to 11 days. That's basically our inception phase. And what is the milestone that must be achieved at the end of inception phase, Abdurrahman?
Sorry, again.
Which milestone should be achieved at the end of inception phase?
It's the architecture of the yeah, to start the construction. It's like finishing the planning.
Yeah. And the exact wording is stakeholder vision. You and stakeholders are on the same page. Team and stakeholders are agreed with the scope of the work or working agreements of the team. They are on the same page. We call it stakeholder vision. And Suhail, how many other milestones are there in discipline agile?
There are many. Some are in the inception, some are in transition. Some milestones are there in construction. So strategies are formed in inception, and during construction, each of our iterations deliver. So they must be, they are the milestones, and then ultimately, once our construction is completed, that would be, I'm not exactly speaking of the exact terminology.
True.
And in transition, when our we shift the thing to the operations, those actions are taken as the milestone for that, the completion of that.
Yeah, true. Now, milestones are very important for DASM course. You will be getting questions around milestones. They will be asking about when, at what stage, which milestones are there, what is the meaning of each milestone, so on and so forth. So that's why it is very, very important. We should remember all the milestones. The first milestone, as Abdurrahman mentioned, that stakeholder vision. Okay, that is at the end of inception. Once this milestone is achieved, our inception phase completes. After that, there are three milestones in the construction phase. The first one is that we normally do it early in the construction is prove architecture. Okay, that we say that, okay, develop the working skeleton of our solution. Okay, it has its importance by many ways. It help us to give us confidence. Okay, the solution we are going to build, the technology we are going to use, the system we are going to build will work. Okay, it will not only give confidence to us but also to our stakeholders as well. And then we have another set of milestones. We call it continued viability. And that is about, okay, as we will keep on working in iterations, okay, maybe in iterations, or if it is lean or Kanban, we might not have iteration, but nevertheless, take the example of Agile. We are working in iterations. At the end of each iteration, when we show our product to the product owner or other stakeholders, when we do the retrospectives, at that time, we also check the viability of our work. Okay. Our stakeholders confirm that, okay, the team is going fine and they can carry on. It is like you can think of move or kill decision, or you can say we call it go forward decision. Should we keep on going? Should we change our direction, or should we pivot to our origin and go in a totally different direction? That is basically failing fast. Okay, so at the end of each iteration, you will have this milestone. So think of there will be multiple continued viability milestones. And once our construction phase is completed, which milestone is required, Yusuf?
Excuse me, doctor, could you please repeat?
When our construction phase is completed, which milestone should be achieved?
I'm sorry, I don't remember.
And that's all right. Sufficient functionality. Our solution has sufficient functionality. Okay. Once we can see that, okay, as per our release plan, we achieve the sufficient functionality. That is basically completion of our development or completion of our construction. And then in transition, we have two more milestones. Sarah, do you remember any of them?
No.
Okay. And Junaid?
Yes. So you're talking about the last one?
The last two, yeah.
Okay, that one is related to production and other one is about stakeholders.
Exactly. So one is solution is deployed. That is basically from development to the production. Solution should be deployed. And second is stakeholders are delighted. Mean stakeholders, once they use the solution, either they are our customers or users of the service, etc. They are delighted. They are happy to use this. So you must remember these 6 milestones as a part of exam. And another bit is why we need these milestones. What do you think, Abdurrahman?
I cannot say what's exactly this milestones, what's the purpose of it. However, it could be so that it's targeted these milestones in a way or other.
The purpose
probably
is,
this is to validate the phases.
Yeah, validate the phases or validate the work. And basically, milestones are used for the governance purposes, for the control purposes. We talked about that. Many other agile methods say, or many other pure agilists say that we should not be governed, but our portfolio managers or any other senior managers, they will always govern it. They are funding you, they are paying you money, they cannot leave you. They no doubt empower you, they will show the trust on you, but they will verify as well. But this verification should be done in a good way, in an awesome way. And that DA called it lean governance. And it is based on these milestones I just mentioned. And these milestones are not comprehensive documents or artifacts. These milestones are lightweight, risk-based milestones. Okay, so this is another thing we should remember.
Sir,
now,
can I summarize this?
Yeah, please.
That means in Inception, we have got only one milestone, that is stakeholder vision.
Mhm.
Product architecture falls under construction in the beginning of construction.
Exactly.
Then we have got continued viability of multiple cycles, of multiple iterations.
You can
And
call them multiple
ultimately,
milestones. These are multiple milestones. Yeah.
And at the end of construction, we have sufficient functionality.
True.
And in transition, we have two milestones at the end of it: production ready and delighted stakeholders.
True. Production ready comes first and delighted stakeholder is the last one.
Last one.
Yeah. Now, these were the milestones. We already talked about inception phase. In the construction phase, what we do, Abdurrahman?
Construction, we are providing producing the products.
Yeah, exactly. And we try to produce the product in an iterative and incremental fashion when we are using Agile or Scrum based life cycle. And during this work, basically we are doing many different things. If you remember the Scrum, we are refining our product backlog, we are planning for our iterations, we are doing daily stand-ups, we are showing our product to the customers, and so that we can validate our work, and doing the retrospective for the purpose of learning, to improve our processes, to improve our product, and improve our working with other people. Similarly, throughout this work, we must be working closely with the stakeholders. Technology people should be working closely with the business people so that they can address their changing needs. Another important aspect of construction is that we must build the quality in. And last time, if you remember, we looked on 3 different aspects of building the quality in. Do you remember what were those 3 aspects, Sohail?
I don't remember right now.
So, I mean, that's all right. And it was like around the validation, around the testing, and around the deployment. The work we produce is of quality. When we are doing the testing, including integration testing, we are doing it in the right way, and we are deploying our solution in the right way. Quality is not just about producing the deliverables, it is much more than that. And also here we use many different lean practices, if you remember.
So may I stop for a while? About validation and testing, yesterday you used the word quality assurance for testing, which I really do not understand.
Okay.
Because what I think is quality assurance is about the audit and the process, whereas quality control is about the product and inspection.
No, sir, the thing is quality audit is more about checking that if we are following our quality management plan or not. It is more about following the processes. Quality assurance.
It's more about the work. It's
No.
about the checking of the work.
Yeah, checking
processes.
of the work, ongoing work.
Exactly.
Not only process, the actual work as well. Okay.
Right.
So two components, as you guys are well aware: quality assurance and quality control. Quality assurance is ongoing activity you normally do when you are building the product, and quality control is the work that we do at the end. Okay. And when we talk about the testing is again, it is quality assurance, it is quality control. Think about why it is quality assurance. Think about TDD, test driven development, where we write the tests first, then we write the solution. What we are doing, we are building the quality in our work. Similarly, when we do the pair programming, we are also doing the testing. Okay, we are also doing the quality assurance. So testing covers both quality assurance and quality control components. Quality control is like, for example, end of life life cycle testing, or exploratory testing, or usability testing. Quality control is more about also like validation, validation of the work, verification and validation of the work. Yeah, Umar is here as well. I hope he's fine. Hello, Umar.
Hi everyone, thank you, Professor.
Most welcome, Umar. Now, guys, we are moving towards our next topic, that is transition. There are in total 2 process goals, and they are shown on the screen. First is ensure production readiness. The second one is deploy the solution. Mean the work we do is we not only ensure that, okay, our solution is ready to be deployed, and then actually we deploy it. Okay. Now let's go in depth of these process goals. When we talk about ensure production readiness, in fact, 2 key topics under ensure production readiness process goal are technical readiness, that is basically about the solution, that it got the sufficient functionality, it is verified, validated, and it is ready to deploy into the production. The second one is stakeholder readiness. That is our, for example, operations teams, or our customers, or our users, or our clients, they are also ready to accept this solution. They are also ready to use this solution. So these are 2 key components, but here in this slide, the purpose of this process goal is given to us. And Charles, can you read the purpose?
Determine whether you can safely deploy your solution, usable plus desirable plus functional, last chance to ensure the solution is consumable, related to the agile and lean life cycles.
Now, one point we already discussed. Okay, this process goal, or even this whole phase, is associated with these 2 life cycles, agile and lean life cycle. Agile life cycle is Scrum based, lean life cycle is Kanban based. Okay, but much more than just Scrum and Kanban. Another thing, they said that the solution we are going to deploy should have these features. These are the features of a consumable solution. So we can call a solution consumable if people, it is of people use, and people wanna use it, and it is adding value to our customers, or the users who are using it. So that's consumable solution. In fact, throughout our inception and construction work, especially the construction work, we try to develop the solution that should be consumable, that should be as per the needs of our customers. But this process goal and this phase is, you can say that, our last chance to ensure that solution is consumable. For example, if there are some loose ends, or there are few testing work, a few tests are remaining, or maybe some documentation is missing. We can do it when we are basically starting this process of transition. And then there.
I have, sorry. So in the previous slide, you mentioned stakeholder readiness. So what did we refer to that? Infer from that?
Many different aspects of it. Yeah. See, sometimes when you are deploying solution, you might need to give training, okay, to your users. Maybe you have to communicate the whole transition to the users, and even much more than that. Maybe you are going, you might be putting that solution in parallel to the previous solution for some time, and later your solution will be replacing it, but maybe for first 2 months you are just running it parallel, okay? Or maybe you are doing it like one stop rollover. Mean one solution is like gone and your solution will be implemented, etc. Similarly, you might need to do some data migration work, etc. So all these are around engaging stakeholders and preparing them for this change, because your solution will bring an organizational change. Now, then there comes the deploy the solution. That is our second process goal in transition. And Yusuf, would you like to read what is the purpose of deploy the solution? What work we do here?
First, to what extent will you automate the deployment process? And the second one, what strategy will you follow to release into production? Third one, what activities must you perform to release your solution? And fourth one, how will you validate that the release was successful?
Exactly. So here one is around like that continuous deployment. Continuous deployment is only possible when you are doing it in an automated way. May not be 100% automated, but still would be like doing it automatically. Maybe you just need to press one button and the whole deployment is done. What we call it, a switch. Just press that switch and then your whole deployment is done, etc. If you have infrastructure, if you have facilities to make your deployment process automated, and what are different strategies? There are a lot of strategies that you will be following when you are releasing into the production. The strategies could be like, if you remember, Umar, we were talking about release on demand, or release in after regular intervals, or release in a continuous fashion. Okay, maybe if someone got background in safe, there is a concept of release train. Okay, all these are different strategies that could be adopted. We will also be looking on different activities that we must be performing when doing the release, and also confirming that, okay, our deployment is done properly or not. So two processes, and it's a time for an activity. What you need to do individually, each of you have to choose one of the process, and out of that process you have to choose one of the decision point, and from that decision point you have to choose agile strategies. You need to read those agile strategies and choose the best agile strategy for that particular decision in a process. Now please take your time. I will be giving you around 5 minutes. Choose a process of your choice. You can go to DA browser. If you cannot go, I can quickly send you the link. Okay, go there and do this exercise once you will be back, then you will be explaining me that, okay, why you chose a particular process goal, which decision point you explored, which agile strategies you understood, and chose one of the most desired agile practice.
Over here, chapters are mentioned 2020. Is it from the book Choose Your Wow? Or
no, you can do it from DA browser as well. You need not to go to Choose Your Wow book. You can go there. There is also explanation, but also you can get it from here. So firstly, let me stop the screen share so that I can share the link of DA browser. You need the PMI login details. Here it is for everyone. Yeah, just click on it, take your 5 minutes and do this activity.
Deploy the solution.
Yes.
I had selected deploy in solution, solution.
Deploy the solution.
For that, when I had to automate the deployment, though the best option provided to me was continuous deployment, but provided I am not in continuous deployment, I may be doing agile or lean life cycle. So I would be using the deployment script, which is a good start. And in case those scripts are not even available, then I can go for the deployment instructions. But my choice is using the deployment script.
True.
As far as release strategy is concerned, I have gone through all of them, and the highlighted two looks more promising. Like the cold switchover is not good in one way, that it overwrites everything, but this is fast. So if I don't have any time, I can straight away go for the cold switchover and deploy my solution immediately, overwriting anything which was underneath, which can cause problem later. The other option I have is functionality on release. I have got functionality off release and on release, but the recommended or good practice is functionality on release, where I release the functionality into production, which is immediately available. So this again serves my purpose, that my functionality is immediately available to the user. Then in release to production, I have got various options, and out of these various options, anything could be a good start. So maybe I go for closing out existing transactions, meaning that whatever is going on in the system, I will hold the transactions which are currently going on at the time of transition. So that would stop any confusion being caused. And to support that, I would also back up my existing data, which later I will restore, and then I will migrate my source data, etc. So many of these options will be applicable in release into production.
True.
Lastly, when I'm validating the release, again, I have got ordered list, and in ordered list, I would rather go for the production deployment testing, which is on the top of the list, as well as it is recommended as a good practice also. So production deployment testing is my choice here, which says we have automated tests that run after we deploy to verify that we have deployed exactly what was thought we would deploy, no more, no less. So this is probably what I approach, what I will be taking.
True. Yeah, awesome. Thanks a lot. And anyone who chose ensure production readiness? Anyone of you?
Suppose everybody was working on the same thing.
Yeah, Yusuf, I think. Yes, Yusuf, you chose ensure
Yeah,
production readiness.
Yes, and I choose ensure production readiness and under ensuring technical readiness, I went to finalize documentation.
Yeah.
Should I read the information here?
No,
Okay.
that's all right.
Deliverable documentation is an important part of the overall solution.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And this documentation must be in sync with what is being delivered, and if it is not yet finished, then it needs to be.
Yeah. True.
And under trade-offs, when documentation has been left to the end, we only need to write the documentation for the end result, reducing the overall documentation work. Then it extends timeline to deploy if documentation has been left until late in the life cycle, and the team may have forgotten critical information by this point. And my main focus here is to have something written in hand, so it will guide easily our team, I think.
Agreed.
Because it's so common to not remember everything or not remember all guidelines.
True.
So and also about the solution. So I choose this one.
Yeah, agreed. Now you chose finalize documentation. Here I have a question, guys, for you, for everyone. Should you be choosing one strategy, or can you choose multiple strategies as well?
We can definitely use multiple strategies. Why
We can
not?
choose multiple, yeah.
Yeah, true.
Like in my selection for ensure readiness, technical readiness, I, for example, considered multiple strategy for deployment.
True. So don't think that, okay, if you chose one, you should be choosing only one. For example, finalizing documentation is just one component of technical readiness. Similarly, finalizing deployment plan or end of life cycle testing, etc., you can use combination of them to ensure technical readiness. Okay. So that was basically the exercise that we did for the transition stage. Now, please allow me to share different set of slides that will be covering our ongoing category. Any question about transition?
I think that's fine.
Okay. So let's move further. And explore our last set of process goals, and there are 6 in total, and part of ongoing category. And this ongoing category is like, these are the activities, these are the processes we do throughout our work, from inception till transition. Okay, so let me start it. Here, we will not only be learning about the process goals as a DS Scrum Master, but also we will be learning lean practices that will be help us to do these ongoing activities. On the same lines, when we were using lean practices in our construction phase. Okay, and at the end of this session, we will also learn how an agile organization can support an agile team by providing a learning environment. I hope you understand the difference between agile transformation and the learning organizations. Agile transformation is normally done once you implemented a framework or you implemented a method, etc. However, learning organizations are those organizations who not only choose their own way of working, choose their own method of working, their own life cycle of working, their own practices of working, but they keep on doing the experiments and they keep on validating that their experiments for continuous improvements uh, are going fine or not. They abandon any idea, any experiment, any agile practice if they feel that it's not working for us. By doing that, they keep on learning and they keep on improving. And how can we do it? There are two strategies given. One is when we develop communities of practices within in our organization, or maybe within our sector, and center of excellence. That is again one of the way. Now let's have a look on this phase or this category. It is not a phase. I hope now you got a good idea that ongoing is set of process goals in a category. In total, 6 process goals. Charles, I think he is not here. Yusuf, can you please read these process goals?
Sure. The first one, grow team members, then coordinate activities, then evolve way of working, then address risk, then leverage and enhance existing infrastructure, and govern the delivery team.
Govern delivery team. So these are 6
Do you hear?
process. Sorry, I can't hear you, Yusuf. So these are the 6 process goals that are part of ongoing activity. And you can clearly see that these process goals are applicable in each of the phases. Now let's have a look on our first process goal, that is grow your team members. Very, very key. When we talk about growing our team members, it is more about team development. It's more about motivating your team. It's more about providing opportunities to improve your team skills so that your team can quickly become highly performing teams. By doing that, we can use a variety of different leadership styles. For example, we can use the style of directing, we can use the style of coaching on different points, we can use the style of supporting, that is host leadership, etc. Okay, so different leadership styles could be used so that our team members can become self-organized team members who can do the work that is basically given to them. So few key points. Sarah, can you please read these few key points?
People are key to success. Motivated people are effective people. Solution delivery is a team sport.
Yeah. So, once our team will be a motivated team, then for them, the work would be just like a fun. So that's why solution delivery is a team sport. Okay. Also, this process goal is closely associated with 2 of the process blades. And those process blades are people management and continuous improvement. We will go in depth of this process goal in the upcoming slides. Now let's move further to our next process goal, that is coordinate activity. And Umar, can you please read for me?
Support effective collaboration support autonomy, working agreement within the team, working in agreements with other teams.
True. When we will be exploring this process goal, we will be learning that how can we create an environment of collaboration, an environment of trust, where people work as awesome team members who are happy to share their learnings with others, who are happy to help others, not only when someone asks for help, but go and help them in a proactive manner. Because in Agile, we believe in team performance, not only in the individual performance. All the metrics, all the measurements we use to check the performance are for the team, not for the individuals. This process goal also talk about, okay, how can our team become an autonomous team? Autonomous team mean that a team who can complete the task by itself. Normally, this team is the team of cross-functional people who have multiple skills, or we call them journalizing specialists. I believe you remember when we talk about team member skills, there were many different components. We talk about journalists, mean that are, you can say, uh, jack of all the trades, mean someone who knows many different things but not expert in any of the things. And other was specialists that we talk about, for example, database administrator or network engineer or RAN engineer, or radio frequency experts, or WAN engineer, etc. And then journalizing specialists. That is what Agile requires, that your team members should not only have expertise in one domain, but also have good understanding of other domains. For example, developers can write the tests. Similarly, business analysts can help you to basically do the testing work if required, so on and so forth. And the last stage is experts, team of experts. Experts are those people who not only have expertise in one domain, but in fact in multiple domains. Maybe you heard about M-shaped professionals. Did you hear about M-shaped professionals or comb-shaped professionals? Anyone
What
of you?
about T-shaped and I-shaped, but not M? That's a different shape. That's a different character alphabet.
Oh yeah, different alphabet, isn't it? So T-shape are like this, mean they have expertise in one domain, but have good grip in few other domains as well. Okay, that is T-shape. M-shape are mostly like this, who have expertise in multiple domains. We normally call them experts, or you can call them, okay, comb shape. Comb is like this. Okay. I'm very bad in drawing because I'm using my mouse. So this is my comb, which has like multiple skills. So experts are tough to find, obviously. And then there comes our next process goal, that is evolve way of working. It includes both choosing your way of working, and once the team situation change, team context change, how to learn how to improve and evolve our way of working. And Abdurrahman, can you please go through the key points?
First thing is every team faces a unique situation. We are constantly learning, and the other teams are evolving. Our environment is constantly evolving. The team needs somewhere to work. The team needs sufficient tooling. These strategies are applicable to a wide range of teams.
So these strategies, evolving our way of working, all the agile strategies given in this process goal, it says that because our team situation is unique, it could be totally different from another team within the same organization. Okay, that's number one. So it means that our way of working would be unique as well. Okay, our agile methods, our agile practices will be unique as well. We might be choosing a unique life cycle that is different from rest of the organizations. Not only this, once we chose our agile life cycle, our agile practices, we are constantly learning and continuously trying to improve ourselves. It means that uh, we might learn initially. Once we choose one agile practice, it might not work uh, later. Okay, so we are constantly learning. On the same lines, our team really doesn't work without our team really doesn't work within its boundary. It also work with the other teams. Okay, they interact with other teams, and those teams might be evolving too. They might be learning and they are evolving their way of working. Once their way of working is changing, it may impact on your team's way of working as well. Similarly, the overall organizational environment, including both internal and also outside organization, it is constantly evolving and we are learning from this environment. So it means that we should have strategies available that are here in this evolve way of working process goal that can help us to learn and to improve our way of working. Here, just one point I want to make again. Here, we are only talking about solution development teams, or you can say DAD teams, that is discipline agile delivery teams, and all the practices are focusing on solution development teams way of working, or how to evolve way of working. But this concept, mean learning and improving, is applicable to all different teams, including marketing teams, finance teams, etc. However, the strategies, the practices could be different as per their domain. Then there comes our next process goal, and that is Suhail.
Hold on a minute. That is leveraging and enhance existing infrastructure.
True.
A lot of good work has occurred before us. We can reduce overall technical debt. We can provide greater value quicker.
True. So what it is saying that it's not compulsory that, okay, once we identify a problem or once we identify an opportunity, we must develop a new solution for it. If you remember, when we develop our business cases, what we do, the first step is we identify our problem or our opportunity. The second stage we do is we check our organizational, our organization's state. Mean we see that do we have already some infrastructure, some facilities, some systems, some solutions available that can resolve our this problem, or that can help us to capture the opportunity. If it is available, we use it. Okay, maybe we just have to make a little bit changes into our current capability. Okay, but it's not compulsory that we must develop a new solution. In fact, as a team, you add real value to your organization when you use existing infrastructure, existing resources to solve a new problem. Okay, it helps a lot. Another important thing is, even you are developing a new solution, we might have already many things available, uh, many solutions available, many processes available that we can utilize them. Not only we can utilize them, if you remember in PMP, we usually call them organizational process assets. But here the concept is much more than just process assets. It also include current system, current infrastructure, current solutions, etc. We not only use these existing infrastructures, etc., but we try to improve them as well. Okay. because like we are using them and we might find that, okay, this system could be improved. If we can do this work, we call it reducing technical debt in our existing solutions or existing infrastructures. Technical debts mean you can think of like errors or problems, etc. Okay, if we can do that work, then we will be really serving our team, really serving our organization. But as we will not be developing new solution, we might provide more value. We can provide the value in a quicker fashion because we are using existing systems. And then there comes our next process goal. Junaid, can you please go through it?
Yes, sure. So we face many risks. Understanding the level of risk is critical decision factor. Reducing risk increase our chance of success. It is usually better to deal with risk early. So
yeah, multiple concepts are given here.
Right.
One of them is discipline agile believe in value risk proposition. What does it mean? It means that you remember we talked about product backlog.
Yes,
yeah. So in our previous session, we talked about product backlog. Anyone would like to share that in discipline agile, what we call this thing, product backlog?
Work items.
Work items.
Yeah, fantastic. We call them work items, where our work is prioritized not only based on value, okay, value of the features, but also based on the risks as well. So it means that we address our risks by putting the risks into our work items. In Agile world, this concept is called risk adjusted backlogs. Okay. So we try to identify our risks as early as possible. Not only identify our risks as early as possible, we also try to reduce our risks in Agile world in the start. And if you remember proven architecture milestone, that milestone also help us to reduce our risks in the start of a project. In Agile world, the risk proposition is different than waterfall. In waterfall, with the time, our risks keep on reducing, and at the closing stage, our risks are minimum. Okay, but in Agile world, proposition is something like this. And what is this proposition? It says that we try to address risks in the start of a project. Okay, for that purpose, we may be running some special sprints, call them spikes. Okay, we try to prove our architecture early. Purpose is one single thing, that most of the risks should be reduced early in the project. Otherwise, if those risks cannot be removed, we are happy to fail fast. It will help us to save our time and money. Then there comes our last process goal, Charles.
So govern delivery team.
Yep.
We are going to be governed. We deserve, yes.
Yep.
We deserve to be governed well. Governance is context sensitive. Our team is part of a larger organization. Effective governance enables collaboration. We have responsibilities to external stakeholders.
Yeah, true. Agreed. So it is talking about that, okay, as an agile team, it really doesn't mean that there would be no governance. There will be governance, but it should be lean governance. We should be governed in a better way. And our milestones should be context sensitive. But in the end, because we work in an organization that is a complex adaptive system where there are many different teams, many different departments who have their own way of working. They have their own unique context, and when we interact with them, we do it in a unique way as well. So it means that we cannot be fully autonomous. It's not possible. So we are discipline agile believes in semi autonomy or semi-autonomous teams. Okay, governed delivery team consists of all those agile practices that will help uh, to govern the team well. Remember, in discipline agile or in agile world, governance is not about command and control. It is about uh, enablement, and it is about we call it motivation. We create an environment, okay, where we not only empower our team members, okay, but we will be governing in such a way that our team will feel motivation. They will remain motivated. It means the concept of governance is totally changed. Normally, governance is done with the help of measurements, with the help of different metrics. Okay, you all use metrics at your workplace, isn't it? As a team manager, as a project or program manager, you measure your team performance. Okay, how you measure it? You use different metrics. It is very, very key to choose those metrics that can not only give you the real picture, but also help you to motivate your team. Okay, help you to empower your team. So it means that under governed delivery team process goal, you will be finding a lot of different ways of finding those metrics. For example, GQM. GQM is one of the technique of uh, setting the team performance measurements, or OKRs. Maybe you use OKRs, isn't it? And many other techniques. So this process goal is pretty important too. Now, it's a time for individual exercise. What we are going to do, again, we are taking 5 minutes. Each one of you choose one goal, but this time I will be assigning you, so that we shouldn't be choosing, multiple people shouldn't be choosing the same goal, and we can cover all the goals. Who will choose grow team members?
I will do.
Abdurrahman?
Yes.
Awesome. Who will choose coordinate activities?
I will.
Thanks, Charles. Evolve way of working.
I'll choose it.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. Address risk.
I want to choose governed delivery team, so I'm just waiting for that. Sorry.
Okay, so that's for Umar. So
Me, doctor.
address
Do you
risk.
hear me?
Yeah. So address risk is with Yusuf, and with Suhail, it's leverage and enhance existing infrastructure.
So we need to cover all decision points in this?
No. You have to choose one decision point, and out of that decision point, you have to choose the agile strategies, read them, and explain in your own words. You need not to go through all decision points. Yeah, so take your 5 minutes. I am putting this on mute. myself on mute, and after 5 minutes, we will be discussing. Let me resume the recording. Now, thanks for completing the activity. Let's move further and try to complete this this section of our DA course. Let's have a look. How can lean practices help us in the ongoing category? One of the lean practices is standard work. Anyone want to comment? What does it mean, standard work?
I think one kind of work with a not very varying in nature and all quality. So there you have certain standards that you adhere to. So it's not linear. It's not boring work, but it's meaningful work. But it is adhering to certain qualities that you have prescribed.
True. You can think of baseline, work baseline, or you can think of, for example, scope baseline, that is from PMP. Okay, so it is the similar concept, standard work. This is a work against which we can measure our performance, that how we are doing. But the difference between scope baseline in waterfall and in agile is, uh, in agile, this work baseline is not fixed, it is changing, okay, based on changing requirements, based on our learning, etc. But still we have something against which we can measure our performance. Let's read through it, and Charles, can you read it for me?
Yes, the work process agreed to be to by the team doing it, define the expressing the team's workflow, acts as a backdrop for seeing how well we are doing our jobs. There might be overlap with the team's working agreements.
So, I mean, the same thing. Standard work is just like a baseline, just like a backdrop that can help us to see that, okay, what we initially planned and how we are doing against it. And it could be expressed with the team's workflow. Again, this workflow is not something static, but could be changing. That's the same thing showed here. Standard work is not static. And also, it really help us to basically to see that, okay, how we are performing and how can we basically improve our way of working through innovation. Then there comes next lean practice, that is explicit workflow policies. Sarah, can you please read it for me?
Goes beyond enabling everyone to understand what other team members are doing, makes visible any gaps between what we have agreed to and what actually happens.
So if we have our workflow policies very explicit, where we have like very clear understanding of roles and responsibilities and how we will be going to work together, okay, it will really help us to understand, okay, that how we are working as a team, how other team members are doing. And if we can make it visible, then it will clearly give us to identify the gaps of our workflow. Lean practice of continuous improvement. As we said earlier, that it's not enough choosing one practice or the other and just stick with it. Okay, it is more about continuous improvement. Mean we choose a practice, we implemented it, and then we assess the effectiveness of that practice. And if we find it useful, we will keep on using. Otherwise, we will abandon it. We will share our learnings and we will basically go and evolve our way of working. That is that dimming cycle for continuous improvement. Same, that previous continuous improvement cycle is shown with the help of this Kaizen loop. We already talked about it, so that's why I'm just skipping it. And I also believe that this diagram that is showing that if we are doing continuous improvement and if we are following a guidance, for example, from an agile coach or even discipline agile toolkit, the advantage would be when we will be experimenting new strategies to improve our way of working, chances of failure would be less, failing fast would be less, chances of being success will be much more as compared to failure. Okay. Then there comes our next topic. How does an agile organization support cross-team learning? Mean that could be like within a team, between the teams, between the different departments, and what could be the strategies for that? One of the strategy is COP, Community of Practices. What is this Community of Practices? Anyone would like to comment?
It is a Sulsa, we are talking, your mic is mute. Please go ahead.
I'm sorry. This is just group of professionals sitting together informally, trying to resolve some technical issue.
And not only technical issues, learning from each other,
Policies.
sharing the strategies and resolving an issue, etc. If any one of you have a community of practices in your organization,
Yeah.
Yes.
We have chapters. So like there's a chapter of backend developers, for example. So they discuss challenges, they discuss ideas, how they get to weekly basis.
Yeah. Chapters are a bit different than community of practices. Chapters are like, I think it is a Spotify concept for, to me, for the departments, data management department, security management, security department, or solution development department, etc. The similar term that is used in Spotify for community of practices are guilds. So guilds are where basically people from different backgrounds, for example, business analysts or marketing team, or from legal background or technical background, they come together, they share their experiences and try to learn from each other. It is one of the strategy that can help us to grow our team members. Yes, Junaid, you were sharing your experience of community of practices.
Yeah, so we have like not an active PMO, but a project excellence community.
Oh, yeah.
Where all the project managers are there. So we have multiple channels for that. One is for general communication, one is for knowledge seeking, and same like others. So for coordination of project managers community, plus sharing ideas, plus sharing templates to technique, or like if someone is facing any problem, so everything is covered there.
Oh. Is it like more formal type of settings or informal settings?
It is semi-formal.
Semi-formal, because like we also have a concept of center of excellence that are more formal, that are like budgeted by the organization. Community of practices are like volunteers coming together. Even PMI chapters are also like similar type.
PMI has separate communities of practice for different disciplines, like women in project management is a community. There are a lot many other communities.
Many others. Agreed. We also have women in project management here in New Zealand, and it is very good. And now let's see why community of practices should be formed. Sarah, can you read the reasons?
To share techniques with one another, to support one another's learning, to capture techniques.
So it's more about sharing, more about helping each other, and more about capturing the techniques. If someone is using a good technique, you can also use it in your organization. And again, community of practices, it's not compulsory that it is only within the organization. There could be people from the other organizations as well. Mostly
you actually used the word guild.
Yeah.
Guild, is it a community of practice?
Yes, guilds are community of practices. Similar.
Okay, but the notes you had given us, that says in the study guide, the community of practice are also known as communities of excellence, interest leagues, not to be confused with justice league or even guilds.
Oh, no. So basically, the thing is, like, they are saying that it should not be confused with the Justice League, but in fact, guilds are same. They are community of practices where people from different background, they come together.
But Center of Excellence is not a guild.
No, Center of Excellence is more like only difference is formal settings. If it is budgeted, it is supported by the organization. If there is like people who are managing it, then it will be Center of Excellence. Okay, again, the naming conventions. Community of practice is more like volunteer basis. Maybe someone who is interested in like running these type of communities in a volunteer role, meeting on lunch times, informal settings where they have like presentation on lunchtime, etc. So that is more community of practices. Now let's move further. Community of practices are mostly ad hoc basis. Okay, they can be supported by the organization.
Sorry, I have a question. Sorry to interrupt. Are these cross-functional or not? So I'm failing to
Cross-functional.
Cross-functional. Okay.
Yes, that's important.
Because if you have like some, if we, as an example, if you say women in project management, then I would assume there would be project managers there, right?
Oh yeah, true.
And as Junaid also said that there is a, where he's currently, there is a informal or semi-formal.
I agree.
So that's also project management. So I found that any skilled or let's say not cross-functional.
Yeah, community of practices are more like cross-functional.
Interest-based, basically.
True. Interest-based. If you want to learn something, you could be part of it. Normal structure is not very formal, very fluid. Membership could be voluntarily by the members.
Reading group or like there was in my previous place there was something used to call redefine or something like that, where people would get together and improve their business communication. So there will be QA members, there was a project manager who was leading it, and we had designers also, because frequently, these days every member has to chip in with communication. In the golden days of waterfall, the developers will be shielded away somewhere in the office, but now with Jira and everything, you are communicating actively with the customers and have, not emails so much, but stories and all that. So business communication, and people were improving their communication. So I think that's
true. Soft skills are hard to learn. They are not really soft, and it's a requirement of the day. And then there comes community of excellence, or you can say center of excellence. And the only difference we already talked about is like it is more budgeted, more focused. Normally organizations have like dedicated hired people or employees who are running the center of excellence. And again, the purpose is one thing, how to make the organization a learning organization for the sake of continuous improvement. Now let's have a look on the purpose. And Charles, can you read the purpose of Center of Excellence or Community of Excellence?
Identify techniques, share techniques, capture techniques, support teams, organize communities of practice, govern improvement.
So it is more formal settings where you really work to identify the techniques for improvement, share it, you work it, you normally have your own metrics to measure the performance, etc. And also you might support communities of practices or COPs to be run, okay, under Center of Excellence. You can form your Center of Excellence or Community of Excellence by hiring someone from within. I mean to say that, okay, you gave responsibility that, okay, 20 hours of your work per week would be to run Center of Excellence, that is hiring from within. Or you might find a new staff who can help you to run Center of Excellence, or you might have coaches or consultant who will be working with your teams under Center of Excellence. Now it's JRNA time. Abdurrahman, can you read first JRNA?
Attendance in communities practice is mandatory. No, it's not mandatory.
No, exactly. Yes, Yusuf?
Yeah. A center of excellence is often referred to as a guild.
As a
Not
guild?
sure, but nay.
Nay, because like that's community
Nay,
of
yes.
practice, not Center of Excellence. And then, Sarah?
An organization may have several communities of practice and several centers of excellence at the same time. Yay.
Yeah, depends on the size of the organization. Now that was end of the session. We are going for break, but before break, I would like to ask from Yusuf, what are 2 points from this discussion that stood out for you?
Actually, I'm not sure. Can we start with anyone else?
That's all right. Charles, would you like to share from ongoing activities and lean practices, etc.? What are the 2 points you feel are okay? They are like making very sense to me, and I can use them at workplace.
I will pass it to Suhail.
Okay.
For me, I think the most important things from the leadership point of view are number 1 and number 6: grow team members and govern delivery team.
True.
These 2 things will get me the full control over people.
True. Make a lot of sense. And then, which one point still puzzling you? Anyone got any point?
Let me add in here, governing teams, like the governance structure shared by disciplined agile versus governance structure being used. Even you said yourself that you are using some KPIs and measurements. Even I asked this question to Scott Ambler as well, and I had an in-person meeting with him. So it was like this complete framework, it will lead you to govern your team. So what are your thoughts on it? Like these are sufficient, but there can be certain more items on governance because there is an organization perspective in place. So this governance is maybe for the team, but in our setting, like the organization need to govern as well, and they have certain other practices in place. So how you map these with that?
Yeah.
Or like
Actually,
we can have multiple perspectives. Yes.
Naturally, the governance coming from top has the higher priority. Governance of your system of agile is not worth it until and unless you are under the governance of the organization. You have to follow the organizational governance first.
Mm-hmm. And also, when we are talking about governance, again, governance is mostly done with the help of Milestone, with the help of matrices and measurements, etc. So we should be choosing those matrices and performance measurement techniques, and that can not only help us to measure the team performance, but based on team performances, we can aggregate that performance on a program level and then later on multiple program level to the portfolio level. So, for example, GQM is a very fantastic technique. Did you read about GQM, Junaid?
Yes, I read about it. I couldn't get it properly, but I've gone through it. It's like an advanced version of OKR.
Advanced version of OKR. OKRs are more like objectives and key results, 2 components only. Okay, but GQM consists of three components: goal setting at a portfolio level, and for each goal you write the questions, either qualitative or quantitative questions, to achieve these goals. And then you basically develop matrices to answer these questions. For different teams, these matrices would be different. Yes.
This is with respect to project, or with respect to individual, or with respect to team? Like project, there are three, like in my practice, I have seen there are three levels: individual, team, and project. Like even individual form a team, but the team is working on a project. So we need to measure it on three levels, or how you
team level. So basically it's about team level. Team performance, and obviously it includes the performance of the project as well.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then it could be aggregated to a program level and to the portfolio level. Here, the key is these matrices should be as per team context. Could be different for different teams. But when we start aggregating it, we should be using a way where we can see the performance of those teams. That could be, for example, with the help of like red, yellow, and green light signals, etc. So there is quite a lot of depth, especially like in current senior Scrum Master course, they gave many different examples of using GQM. Okay, now another important thing is GQM fits well with discipline agile. Reason is, in discipline agile, they say that anyone can use Kanban, another team can use Scrum, etc., etc. So in that case, we cannot have consistent matrices across all the teams. Any one idea you would like to take with you and implement on your team, Sarah? You are on mute, Sarah. You are here.
Yeah, I can't think of a specific idea, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you have like a community of practices in your organization or center of excellence?
Yes, we do.
Oh, that's awesome. And that was basically end of this session. We are going for a break now. When we will be back, we will be finalizing our final session. And if we will get time, we will also try to solve one quiz. A 15 minutes break. What do you say?
Great. Wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you. Now, okay. Equivalent of non-utilized talent is in knowledge work is lower quality work, and lower quality work is again when we don't have the right people for the right job, then it will result in lower quality work, and also may require in the relearning, especially when information is not properly shared. So these were different types of lean wastes. By any chance in your organization, do you see this type of issues?
All the time, all of them.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yes.
Now,
I have one question, Dr. Saab, regarding the motion from value stream to value stream. Can you repeat that one?
yeah, so if a single value stream is not producing the products or services, and we have to use multiple value streams, from one team to the other team who are working like in a different setting, that is basically motion of the work.
Okay.
Flow is not smooth.
Yeah, flow is not smooth. And in fact, the whole just one product is not being produced with the help of one value stream. No doubt value streams can produce multiple products, but if multiple value streams are involved in producing one product, that is basically motion. And then there comes principles of leans, the key principles. Abdurrahman, can you please read these principles?
Yes, build quality in, learn programmatically, eliminate waste, keep options open, deliver value quickly, respect people, optimize the whole, build in resilience.
Yeah, so these are the key principles that we are going to look into them in upcoming slides. The first one is build quality in. We already talked about build quality in. When we talk about talk about the quality, it is more about not only just at the time of when we are developing our solution, okay, but it is also at the time of when we are integrating our solution within our system or with our existing solutions or legacy systems. Similarly, continuous deployment when we are putting our solution into the production, and we are checking that, okay, when we put our solution into the production, is it being consumed, is it producing value or not? So building quality in is much more than just solution development, but also it takes to next level, that is into the operations. 4 stages of the lean validation process. Shown here, validate the problem. Is it the problem that is worth to investigate? Second is validate the market. Maybe problem is worth to investigate, worth to resolve, but maybe market is not ready to accept that. And then validate the product. The product we are developing, will it be acceptable in the market? Okay. And the last one is validate willingness to pay. Okay, we identified problem is worthwhile to resolve. We develop the right product, and we know that market needs it. But what about paying? Would they love to pay it, or they want to just use it for free? So all these are different validation processes we should take into account when we are developing awesome product. That's why what happens when we develop our improvement backlogs on the portfolio level, or when we develop our product roadmaps, okay, most of our product roadmaps, they get failed. In fact, out of like multiple products, 90% of the products, 90% of the ideas fail because we don't validate all these bits. And then there comes second principle, that is eliminate waste. This is one of the key principle of lean, and let's try to understand this principle with the help of this video. Please ask me if you cannot hear the voice.
The core idea of lean is quite simple. Work relentlessly to eliminate waste. While lean came from manufacturing, where waste is often manifested physically as things in the real world, it applies just as well to knowledge work. But that does bring up an interesting question. What is waste? Waste can take many forms, but basically, it's anything that does not add value from your customer's perspective. Obviously, defects are waste because they provide no value to your customer. In manufacturing, overproduction happens when you make more than you need. In software, this takes the form of building features that aren't needed. Either way, it delays value delivery, increases risk by delaying feedback, and adds complexity. Manufacturing, this is stocks of goods and raw materials. In software, this is unfinished software. In software, it's worth including all types of delays: workflow, feedback. These delays cause unplanned work. In manufacturing, transportation, moving work in process around. In software, it relates to moving the work to different people. Handoffs always lose information. Handbacks lose time. In manufacturing, this is moving people around. In software, it's about switching projects, which can happen easily, but which switches the mind of the developer and is very costly. With big batches, we do a lot of analysis before we need to, or a lot of development. Incremental delivery can reduce the excess process. Using less skilled people than those available lowers work quality. People knowing things that others don't, but not having a way to share knowledge forces relearning. Eliminating waste is a never-ending process, and it can offer big benefits to your organization.
I hope now we got better idea of waste, different types of waste in both manufacturing and knowledge work or product development. And here there are multiple different examples of common causes of waste within a team, including multitasking, where we are working on many different work items at a time, rework because of defect, or building work of lesser value, relearning that normally happens because of information is not shared, etc. Miscommunication, it also causes delays or waste, and error than poor quality code or poor quality work. Then there comes the next principle of learn pragmatically. When we talk about to learn pragmatically, we basically talking about that we should be working in such a way that that is applicable in the real world. Let's watch this video and learn about what is pragmatic learning. And this is one of the principles of Discipline Agile 2.
The lean approach to learning is very pragmatic. Lean teams are constantly doing small experiments and analyzing the results. If there's a measurable improvement, the small change is adopted and the team jumps into its next small experiment. This enables lean teams to make continuous small refinements to their processes, refinements that add up to noticeable improvements over time. The idea is to improve through a series of small changes, a strategy the lean community calls Kaizen, Japanese for improvement. It's usually represented like this. And while the idea is strong, most organizations need a step-by-step approach that will yield results. And that looks like this. Here's how it works. First, an organization identifies potential improvement, such as a new practice or strategy that they want to experiment with to see how well it works in their situation. Then they try it out. They implement the change. After a brief period, they'll assess whether the change has been effective. They'll measure it against clear outcomes. If the new way of working is effective, they adopt it. If it isn't, they abandon it, for now at least. But they're not done. At that point, they share what they've learned with others, other members of their team, and other teams throughout their organization. Then start the process over. It is continuous improvement after all.
So that is a pragmatic approach for continuous improvement. And then there comes the next principle of lean, that is keep options open. What does it mean, Sarah? What do you think? You are on mute.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What does it mean, keep options open?
I mean, if there is any unpredicted changes that could happen, there is always has to be unlimited options.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So basically it is also talking about like when things are very uncertain. One of the best approach is keep your options open. Don't make decisions till last responsible moment. We also call it defer decisions. if you will defer decision and you will make decision at the last responsible moment, we are not saying delay decision. We are saying that keep on deferring decision until last responsible moment, because it will help us to know more information. We will have the concept of progressive elaboration. We will have much more information if we will wait in making our decisions. Now, here, let's do this small exercise. Here are few scenarios given here. You guys need to tell me that what should we do about these scenarios? Should we decide now or we defer our decisions? First one, Charles.
Identify the feature to be added in the next iteration. Decide now.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, decide now. And then next, Charles.
Decide which mobile payment apps to accept payment from. Keep options open.
Keep options open. We can wait to choose that app for the payments. And then last.
Keep the backend to accept payment from mobile apps. This should be decide now.
Not really. This will be still keep options open. The reason is until we don't select our app, okay, payment app, we really need not to write our backend code to connect with those apps, because we didn't select our app yet. So it will be still keep up our options open. And this was a small exercise to just to learn how to defer decision. And then there comes the next principle, deliver value quickly. How can we deliver value quickly? What do you think, Junaid?
So deliver value quickly.
Yeah.
So as we do in Kanban, we don't opt for an iteration or a cadence. Like before that, we cannot provide value.
True.
We cannot provide a feature even if that is 12.
True.
So opting for this, we can deliver something in production as soon
True.
as it is 12, instead of waiting for like an iteration end.
The end of iteration. Yeah, if you compare Agile and Kanban, Kanban is even more faster than Agile, but nevertheless, Agile or Scrum way of working, they help us to deliver the value at the end of like 2 weeks only, instead of waiting for long. And key points of this principle is, can you, Junaid, read these points?
Sure. So focus on time instead of cost, and focus on removing delays rather than going fast. This is very important, that we remove delays instead of going fast, and achieve flow by working on smaller things and with people fully allocated to work instead of a partially allocation, and limit batch size.
True.
So
yes.
how about limiting batch size and like removing delays?
So basically it is linked with deliver value quickly. Okay, if we will limit our batch sizes, then we will be not doing multitasking. Okay, if work in progress is limited, okay, and it is smaller chunks of work, maybe we are working only on 2 items at a time, then there will be much lesser multitasking as compared to when we are working like multiple or many different work items. Similarly, focus on time instead of cost. When we are thinking about value delivery, it is very important that if we are delivering the product in a speedy manner or not. And when I say speedy manner, there are two ways. One is working fast or going fast. The other one is removing delay. Working fast is not the best approach. The reason is like it will result in many errors and quality issues. The good thing is when we are delivering value by reducing the time, try to remove the non-productive uh, time. And yeah, and then this concept is same, achieve flow by working on smaller things. As I said, not only batch size should be small, but also the number of items should be less. And if we have dedicated team members, then like long-standing stable teams, and then we will be able to deliver value quickly. And then there comes the next point, that is importance of incremental delivery. uh, in Agile or in Lean world, we believe in incremental delivery. What's the advantage of it? What do you think, Umar?
Incremental delivery, you can evaluate and retrospect and also accommodate change. So you're not forcing yourself to have long plans and everything, you know. So that's and you're also receptive to change. You can harness the change for competitive advantage, and yeah, and make sure that you keep aligning yourself with the latest in the market, in the product, customers, everything.
So when we say that, okay, it will help us to harness the change, and we will be like doing it like in iterations, etc. It is more about iterative delivery, iterative way of working. When we talk about incremental delivery, where we are keep on giving the features from the start, so that our customers can use the features of the product uh, as early as possible for their competitive advantage. Now let's have a look on this continuous delivery, that is again in an incremental fashion with the help of this video.
Whether you're looking to do Scrum, Kanban, or any form of Agile, it's important to understand the principles of Lean, particularly flow. One of the mantras of Lean is to reduce delay in workflow and feedback. Sometimes doing this means selecting what you work on differently than one might otherwise. A quick hypothetical example may help in understanding why these delays are bad. This image shows 3 different ways to do a single process. In each case, there is a standing order for 10 items, and each item must go through 3 different processes in order to be ready for delivery. The only difference is in the batch size. The first line uses batches of 10 items. The second uses batches of 5 items. The third doesn't use batches at all, using one-piece flow instead. Let's see what happens. As you can see, reducing batch size to a single item, essentially using a flow-oriented approach rather than a batch-oriented approach, sped things up considerably. The order was successfully filled in roughly half the time. Being able to visualize the process makes it significantly easier to identify delays and find ways to mitigate them, and to see where waste is occurring.
I hope you got some idea about continuous delivery. Any question about it? I have seen this concept of continuous delivery even in normal people. Uh, Once I got a chance to attend a marriage, and on the marriage when there was a feast, what I have seen, the hosts instead of bringing the items from one place to other, what they did, they made a line, they made a queue, and then items were shifted from one person to the other person. So what happened, like first item, for example, took 1 minute to reach to end. After that, each item was taking like 5 seconds, and it was delivered very, very fast. So that is the same concept of continuous delivery. Now let's move further. That is about lean principle, respect people. Uh, what does it mean, respect people? What do you think, Sohail?
Naturally, if we will look into the culture and the settings and relationship of the people and the trust level, we will be able to get them more effective. So the points here as culture is a context in which all change must happen. Focus on understanding others' views and perspectives. Naturally, we have to respect others. We have to give them that leverage. Recognize all who consume your work as customers. Customers have also some respect to be shown. They also have to be, honored for whatever they are. Build partnerships based on trust. Attend to people's needs and wants and create an environment of mutual influence. This is the complete set in which all the stakeholders are satisfied.
So create an culture of respect where everybody should be respect without uh, uh, any, you can say that any psychological safety issue or any diversity issues. And then we have our next principle, that is optimize the whole. Optimize the whole is talking about not only optimize just one component mm, uh, of the system, but the whole system. Here, an example of airplane is given to you. What do you think? Which component of airplane is responsible for the flight? Is it engine or wings or design or control room? What do you think?
Full integration of the plane.
Yes, true. So all the components work in an
Sometimes even one screw is not functioning well, the entire aircraft has been found to come down.
Exactly. So
In aircraft investigations.
agreed. Uh, and then the system is the source of most problems. Uh, this concept says that it's not people who are the problem. People are good. They want to work. Okay. They want to perform good. They want to be awesome. It's system that is like root cause of most of the issues. So if you want to bring any organizational change, you must improve the system instead of trying to improving the people. That is focus on system, then changing the people. So let's go through it. And Yusuf, can you read the key points of it? You're on mute. Yusuf.
Yes, doctor. Poor systems will defeat almost all but the greatest of people. And if we trust people, we don't need to work on them. We need to improve the system. The role of management is to create great systems so that people can work autonomously to achieve the vision of leadership.
Uh, yeah, agreed. So basically, you bring one person in one system, he or she will act differently. Bring him or her to another organization or maybe another country, they will behave totally differently. That's because of the system of that organization or country. And then there comes our last principle, that is build in resilience. Uh, all the previous principles help us to build in resilience. What does it mean, building in resilience, by the way? Ismail?
Well, I can't really explain it, but this is kind of a smooth environment in which we could operate.
Yeah, and also if challenges come, if we face the challenges, we should keep on moving forward. We accept those challenges, keep, we should become like conscientiousness. Okay, we should show that, okay, if challenges come, we should stand up and keep on working. That is like to be very resilient. And all the previous principles help us to work to enhance resilience. Here, more explanation of these components and how they help in resilience is given. I'm not going in depth of it. It is provided on your uh, handouts, so you can go through it. Okay. Uh, I'm just trying to save some time for the practice questions. G and A time. Sahil, the
Yes,
first one. Yeah.
Context counts is a lean principle. Context counts is not a lean principle. This is a disciplined agile principle.
Yeah, agreed. And then Charles.
So lean seeks to optimize the whole value stream, not just individual functions or team. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
Yeah. So these were few J&A questions. Next is focus on realizing value. Uh, that's important. And again, when we in discipline agile, when we think about realizing value, it is not only customers, it is also business as well. Few tips are given here through which you can realize value early and often manner. The first one is work on fewer things to reduce multitasking, keep your batch size small, work more efficiently, and create better workflow so that your work and workflow both should be visible, and there should be less and less delays. And delays mean handoffs, handbacks, multitasking, etc., etc. uh, the same concept we were talking about. uh, Value is obviously, value will be defined by the customer. You know that how companies, they start their new initiatives, their new projects. Most of the time they do it based on market feedback, isn't it? Okay. uh, Marketing teams, they run the questionnaires, they run the surveys, and they conduct the focus groups. The purpose is to know that what customer wants. But when it comes to business, uh, if there are, like, for example, 10 initiatives defined, it is business who decide that which initiative they are going to pursue in, for example, in a current year. So that's the concept that is given here. uh, the next question is, I mean, that's just to try to understand a concept. When do customer know what they want? What do you think, guys? When customer know what they want? Anyone work with the customer? I think Sarah, you work with the customer.
I think when they feel the need for something.
Yeah, need of
When
something.
when there is basically a business case and the pain point, the customer would like to eliminate or maybe improve.
Yeah.
Then we can say the customer really know what they want and they look for a solution.
True. And the thing is, like, okay, on a high level, they know that what they want, but in detail, do they know? Do they know their needs, their requirements?
Not really.
Not really.
No, that's why we help them do a mapping to the solution, an outcome map for their issues.
True. And in fact, what you normally do, you normally show them something. Okay, and do you want this bit? for example, you show them a prototype or a product, then they tell you, oh, no, not really. I don't know. I don't want this thing, but I want something different. Okay. So when you show your customers what they don't need it, then they tell you what they need it. Okay. So that's the thing. That's the purpose of prototypes. And now let's talk about business value for which all the projects, all the initiatives are started. What is the business value? Different components of business value are shown here. Okay, let's read each of them one by one, and we'll cover few of them. Charles, can you help me to read?
Sure. Value delivered to the customer, discovering what is of value, discovering how to build it, building it, preparing for consumption, improving our own internal methods, mitigating risk, learning something new.
So all these are part of business value. It's not only what you deliver to the customer, the value you deliver to the customer. It starts much earlier than that. It starts from discovering what is our value. Okay, that is called agile discovery. And then discovering how to build it, uh, architecture, building the right product, and then in fact implementing the solution, and then preparing for the consumption. That's only not only your working software, but a consumable solution, and ensure that your stakeholders are ready to consume it. Improving your own internal methods, not a direct value to the customer, but it is a direct value to the business and indirect value to the customers. Mitigating the risks, again the same thing, and learning something new or improving. And then there comes the role of management, how they can help the teams to work effectively. Two key points. The first one, Abdurrahman.
Yes, listen and watch for the needs of the team and remove problems. Communicate with other managers to provide the bigger picture.
As a discipline agile scrum master, that would be your role, and that is basically servant leadership, where basically you listen to your team needs and you provide those resources your team need, and also you remove the problems and impediments. Another thing is, you as a scrum master or project manager, you need to work with other managers as well, to share the bigger picture of your about your team, about your teamwork. A quotation is given here. Let's read it and try to understand what is this quotation. But this quotation came from one of the most famous person in system thinking called Edward Demings. Yes, Sarah.
A system must be managed. It will not manage itself, left to themselves. Components become selfish, competitive, and dependent. Profit centers and thus destroy the system. The secret is cooperation between components toward the aim of the organization.
So three things are given here. First of all, systems are developed, but they need to be continuously managed. They will not run automatically. Okay, you need to manage the systems. And the second point, they said that if you will leave the system to its components, to its, for example, teams, to its departments, then what would happen? These components or those teams will become selfish. They will be thinking about themselves, working in silos, competitive, that is not productive at all, independent, profit centered, thinking about their own success, and thus destroying the whole system. What's the way? The way is, you must develop the system and keep on managing the system so that your components should keep on cooperating with each other while keeping the organizational goals in mind. So this is a quote from Edward Demings from Twitter. Now, just to conclude, let's see what we have learned so far. What were the key points in our previous discussion? Remember, guys, here we learn about lean. Here we learn about systems. We learn about system thinking, the lean principles, and how a DSM can, after understanding these lean principles, can apply to improve their team performance. So 5 key points that we learned are given here. Umar, can you please read?
Look at the system, not people. Feed the system with the right work to be done. MBIs, MVPs. Make all work visible. Use pull to coordinate local decision-making processes into global flow. Always be looking for ways to improve.
So these are the key concepts we learned. We should be improving systems, not trying to improve the people. And also we should do a good discovery of our products. Okay, and that will give us a right work, right initiatives, the right projects or products to build. Okay, make our all work and workflow visible. It will help us to identify the bottlenecks and remove those bottlenecks. Use pull system instead of push system, especially when there are uncertain times. Pull system work much better than push system. And also always look for the ways to improve yourself. Don't just adopt one strategy and keep on doing it. That was the end of this session. Here we learned quite a lot about lean and Kanban and many other different components, and end of our last session. So congratulations, you completed the course. 2 steps are left. One is prep and pass the course, and the second one is how can you bring this knowledge back to your organization, back to your team, and work for their improvement. I would love to hear the stories from you. And for that purpose, if you want to connect with me over LinkedIn, especially if you are not connected, I'm sending the link of accepting my invitation. It is given here in the chat. Please feel free to connect with me, and we will be in touch. So here is the link. Also, I send you the links for previous 3 sessions. Did you get a chance to download them? They are given in the chat.
Yes, I did download. So I wanted to ask this: these are for days 1 and 2, perhaps day 1 and 2, or they include for all the sessions until today?
3 sessions till today.
In fact, I didn't receive. I only received 1 session.
Charles, you received only 1 session?
Yeah, the first one.
Okay. If you go to chat, yeah, if you go to chat, you will find the links. I am pasting these links again.
Okay, please. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm doing it now.
Sorry, Faiz, but I have to leave now. I have a
please.
appointment. Sorry. Nice to meet you and others. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. And last thing is selfie time, and you can leave. Can we do the selfie?
Okay.
Selfie? How would we do the selfie?
Just print screen. Junaid might know a better way. I just know print screen.
Yes, it is print screen.
Yeah, okay, cool. Awesome.
Right.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. And thanks, Abdurrahman. If you want to leave, please feel free.
Thank you.
Yeah. So guys, we still have 20 minutes left. You want to finish early or you want to do a quiz?
I think the quiz would be okay. And also one more question related to exam. I think you've given us some referral at the start of the course. So how can we connect all that?
Sorry.
You had mentioned that we will have more time for preparation of exam. You were accommodating our request for late submission to PMI, I think, something like that.
True. And do you have my WhatsApp? I'm putting my WhatsApp here. Okay, so you can connect with me and we can talk about it.
Is there any study group that will be done for the DASM?
Yeah, so let me share a link for study group, that is WhatsApp again, and you can join that study group. I will be there, okay, and you can always come to me if you have any questions. In meanwhile, if there will be free coaching sessions, I will be putting them here.
Okay. And is there any sample for the exam that we can use for our study?
Yeah, so that's next thing. So what I am going to do, let me paste this link first. Just a minute. What I'm going to do, I will be enrolling you in a learning portal where there will be exam questions, practice exams, around 5 practice exams for you. And also I will make these make these videos available there too. And I will keep on posting many other things such as study plans, etc.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, most welcome. So the important thing is, please be connected with me over LinkedIn and WhatsApp so that we can access each other easily.
Yes,
so,
we will do.
All right. So I have just sent you a message on WhatsApp.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So we can join the WhatsApp group that has the learning resources as well as any practice exams. Is that what you're saying? There is a separate
No. There will be a learning portal where I will be enrolling you.
Okay.
Yeah, the study group.
PMI resource or something local with for this course only, like
So you already got a lot of PMI resources from PMI learning portal. You can download all of them. However, on our school learning portal, there will be practice questions, study plans, and video lectures.
that is excellent. That would be very
Cool.
Does it include this exam simulator? Yani you mean by practice exam?
Practice questions or exam simulator. Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's okay. Also, I wonder how we can request how we can process our PDUs on PMI certification.
So once I will be sending your name to PMI, your PDUs, 14 PDUs, I think they will automatically add.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah. So LinkedIn is where I am mostly active. I send the link. If you wanna like to connect, you can just connect with me if already not connected. Okay. Any other question?
So you will be giving, providing access to the simulation exams on the WhatsApp?
No, I will be enrolling you in the course. I got your email addresses. So
Okay.
I will be enrolling you and sending you the link. How to access the learning portal, what is username and password.
Right.
What about DASS, right? The senior Scrum Master. So after that, you can teach this course to other people, right? Yes, sir. That's correct.
Sorry.
Like, if we want to teach this DASM, the Discipline Agile Scrum Master, what is it that we have to do next after this certification?
If you want to teach DASM to someone, that you need to become PMI certified instructor for this course.
Okay. That does not have to do with what we have already accomplished so far. Like, if you do the senior Scrum Master, or this, that will not be counted for it.
No. Senior Scrum Master can teach both Scrum Master and Senior Scrum Master, but important thing is you need to be associated with an ATP, Authorized Training Partner, and through them you need to become certified instructor for the discipline Agile.
I think Junaid wanted to say something.
So that was his Dr. Saab shared that already. So it is not like ACP or RMP or SP. This one, like Discipline Agile and PMP, they are now with ATP, like Authorized Training Partner. So there is a cost for having registered your company as